Okay. So this is our last session of Writers Masterclass, our bonus integration session, and Vera's going to open up with a poem. If you want to, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's first in Finnish. Kaikkia mahdollisia makuja. Katkeraa ja kitkerää, pehmeää ja makeaa, vaniljaa ja kaakaota, pippuria, valkosipulia, pilkottuja hetkiä, höystettynä chilillä vereslihalla, minttua, makeaa kuumaa minttua. So all the possible flavors, bitter and bitter, soft and sweet, vanilla and chocolate, pepper, garlic, almonds chopped in pieces, spiced up with chili to the flesh wound, mint, sweet, hot mint.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
So yeah, that kind of a day.
Beautiful. Okay, see the abundance of inspiration you got from your day. I always say when you have a lot to do and a lot going on, just be grateful for the abundance, right? I mean, we could be bored.
That's so true.
Right? We could be bored and we could have nothing to write about, but hey, isn't life a treat? Isn't life treat us, I mean? And you made me think of mint tea at the moment, and I have some fresh mint in the garden. I was just contemplating earlier that I very much neglected my garden. We've been passing on. There's 3 people in this house, me and my son and my sister, and we've all been kind of saying, oh, I think it's your turn to do the grass. Oh, I think it's you. I think it's you. And nobody done it today. We all seem to be zapped for whatever reason. And I said, okay, just give in to it. There's no point, forcing it. And we left it yet another day, and it's a bit of a jungle. But in the jungle, I was contemplating how some plants just don't care, and they're growing in the mint. The mint is so, it exploded. And the lilac, I have a baby lilac tree, and the flowers have started to come out. And the flowers on the apple tree are blossoming, and the roses have shot up. They don't care. They couldn't care less that we didn't prune or we didn't do the garden. And I was laughing and smiling at myself like, right, life carries on, and things grow and things bloom. Either way they do. Yeah. Anyway, that's definitely that way. And I think for all of us, who are feeling this period for whatever reason, one or another, we all have our personal reasons, but as you know, I follow the stages of the moon, and we had a new moon eclipse. It was very powerful, very, very powerful. And for whatever reason, I'm going to share this with you. I had 2 dreams in a row, the same dream, 2 nights in a row. I didn't make the connection at the time. I made the connection yesterday. Yesterday, the 1st. So the eclipse was on the 30th, and on the 29th, I was very tired. It was probably Thursday night, and the week had been full, and I fell asleep with the laptop literally on the bed. So I was on the pillows, writing or reading something, and I fell asleep. And in my dream, from my laptop screen was turning blue, and through the speakers only in my right ear, this a sound, very strange sound, like almost like electromagnetic sound, but a sound that didn't make sense to come out of the laptop. It started like a zoom, like hums, and then it got really, really loud, really loud. And then it became almost explosive, but just in this ear. So I was trying to switch off the laptop and it wasn't working. And I knew that if I don't close it, my ear is going to explode. So I flipped the laptop lid down and I woke up and I could feel my ear, just my right ear buzzing. And then I thought, oh, that was weird. I shouldn't fall asleep with the laptop on my, the bed. Hi, Sylvia. Welcome, honey. I'm just sharing about a dream I had. And then the second day, it was probably Saturday afternoon, and I fell asleep this time downstairs on the sofa, no laptop nearby, the same dream. The laptop screen was there in my right ear, the same, some kind of blue fuzziness. And then the sound was even louder this time. And I remember almost like feeling almost pain in the ear from the noise that was coming. But it was, I was thinking, this is not the laptop. That's what the only thought I had. This sound is not coming, it's coming through the laptop, but it's not the laptop's fault, if you know what I mean. So it got again increasingly louder, very loud humming and the zooming, and almost like, radio, electromagnetic radio crackling. And this time again, I didn't switch off the laptop. I just woke up. And I kind of woke up with this feeling, oh, I just had this thing. I just got an upgrade. This was the only thought that I had. I just had to get this upgrade. And for me, that sound really was like a soundtrack, of kind of underlying vibration of everything that's happening right now. And of course, funnily enough, you know me, I had to investigate and look into this. And like, what does it mean? And I just asked the question, and something that came up was maybe 2-3 weeks ago back, I was searching for, we had the Jupiter-Neptune alignment. And I was clicking from one picture to another. I found a very beautiful picture of the planet, and it took me to a YouTube video. You end up in YouTube eventually. And it took me to a YouTube video, which was, I didn't know that this is possible. It was the sound of Jupiter and Neptune rendered via NASA. So on spacecraft, you have radio transmitters, and each celestial body has I'm not sure exactly why I'm telling you this or whether it's relevant for now, but it's just coming. So each planet has a radio frequency. So you will detect it like almost like a thing like sonar waves. Yeah, it transmits a certain wave. And obviously there's no sound in space, but you can take this radio frequency and convert it to sound because of the frequency it contains. And the sound has various frequencies. You take the pattern and you can convert it into a sound. And lo and behold, guess what? Each planet has a sound. And it's basically an electromagnetical print of that body, of that celestial body. Earth has a sound, and apparently it's one of the loudest ever. And there's a joke in NASA that if aliens would ever scan us or our part of the universe, Earth would pop up first because we're the loudest planet of all. Yeah, and this is kind of what popped into my mind. And then I thought, oh, well, it makes sense. If this happened on the night of the eclipse and the day before, just as the new moon was shadowing Earth, I simply got the interference between that. And of course, our human ear would never be able to detect this frequency. You can't freely hear this. So there was the laptop, my converter. As I do so much through this beautiful tool, don't I? I speak to you guys, I do my work, I write, I create, I draw. So this is kind of my channel, right? My laptop is my channel of connectivity. And I kind of interpreted the dream for myself that I received the upgrade I needed to receive for this period in the form of sound. Although it wasn't pleasant, the moral of the story is this sound was not melodic. These upgrades are not easy. Whatever energy is being transmuted is not easy, and it's difficult for us all to embody it. So then it has to come in all sorts of shapes and forms, but always protects us, right? So in my dream, it went as loud as it could, and then I woke up, right? When it started to hurt, it stopped. My mind woke me up. Okay, wake up. So it never, there's this element of trust of life never pushes us too hard, always pushes us as much as, always gives us as much as we can handle and as much as we need. Yeah, so there's that comfort in it. Anyway, this is my experience with the latest times and latest climate of everything going on. So welcome, Sylvia. How are you? Let's hear how you're doing, honey.
I started today a big assignment at a company, so I'm suddenly full into preparations and workshops and working together with a colleague, and I just said to myself, I have to check the offer that a designer for the book of Pep has made for me. So no, it's just in. I sent her all the pictures, and then you know what? When I send it, you have to send it, right? I mean, if you want it to be designed, and then I said, I have to put a spell on it, so nothing will happen with it. It will just stay with me. So it's such a suddenly a of confidence.
Great.
Yeah. I said to myself, what if suddenly I find my drawings or it cannot be. I mean, it's not professional, right? It's not like you're stealing a Van Gogh or something. Yeah, so that happened, and for the rest, I'm super tired. We had a big party during the weekend, 2 nights of celebrations and dancing, and so it was really fantastic. Yeah, since 2
a long
years
time.
or something. Yeah. Wow. So that was really liberating of me. Dancing, I had such pain in my body just from all the movements I've been making and dancing all night long. It was fantastic. And then somewhere during the night, I woke up, couldn't sleep anymore, and I'm like, yo, body, you're tired. Bed, sleep already. Well, it didn't work this time. Normally it works. So good. And I was just wondering, the girl, so she made for the twist, so it's actually 26. She wrote 24, but it's 26 pictures in the book, and I don't think it's really very expensive. So she's asking for the English version, which is going to be the first version, so that's the biggest job. She's asking 185 euros, and then it doesn't seem, I don't know, it seems affordable, of course, and so it seems logical. No, it seems actually cheap. I'm never gonna get that if I ask an editor here in Belgium or in the Netherlands or here in Europe. Never ever.
Absolutely, you're right. It's quite affordable. And it's a good offer for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she wanted to do it already, an offer for 3 languages. I said to her, can we just start with the English one, so I know that I like what you're going to design, and if I don't like it, I want to have the freedom. Yes, I did indeed find this person on Fiverr.
It's a good idea, Sylvia. Great idea. Just have a test run, of course, because you want to be sure you like what you see. It has to reflect the vibe that you want to transmit, and maybe work first and get a proof of concept, and just get get 4 pages done, get 2-page turns done, and see what that's like. And once you get the format the right way, then commit to the rest of the book, because it makes sense to do that. But absolutely. So happy to hear. Wow, Pep is nearly out into the world. Wow, it's so close now.
It's scary. It becomes real. I love it. And I also, I started with the second book, but now that I have this big gig myself for a company, I'm like, good that I didn't commit to another, yet. So, I know that during summer, the companies are, there's no formations. So then I will have the time to draw again and create a second book of Pep. And so somewhere in October, maybe for his birthday, we'll do the second book.
Excellent, excellent. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
Amazing progress, and love the vibration. Indeed, I think we're all slowly kind of getting into a routine that we kind of got used to not having, traveling to work, having parties, meeting people, talking about body hurting. I went in the city 3 days last week in a row, and I collapsed on the sofa. I was like, I can't handle this. But you're not alone. We're not alone. Everybody's going through the same stuff. And
it's really a different vibe, because I had to be in the capital as well. I had to be in the capital as well, which is, but I went, it's no traffic. I'm like 20-25 minutes. I'm in the heart of Brussels.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me about 1 hour to get out.
During
the traffic. Yeah, it was really, I went so early this morning that I knew, I was way too early at the company. But okay, it was the first day, no risk.
Excellent. Love to hear that.
I had an idea for you, Sylvia. Maybe what you could do is have a little ceremony for your book, and give a little offering, something that is relevant, or would be meaningful for you to kind of bless it being out into the world. So yeah, like a little ritual.
That's actually done, and it was
okay.
And it was huge, because I was 4 days in Amsterdam with a beautiful teacher, American native Indian, and so I took the book in with all my drawings, and I put it on the altar. There's a huge altar, because we were with a lot of people. So there are crystals, and there are, I don't know, there's all sorts of medicine. There are furs and bones and drums and water, and I don't know, the whole feathers and whatever, you think of it, it was there. And so Pep was there, and we were the whole weekend. He was with the drumming, and
amazing. So he had a great scent. Pep had a great scent of.
It was really full with a vibration, and it stays very special. For me, he's the totem animal that travels with me, or that helps me to bring me to the dreamscape. And it's maybe 2 weeks that I didn't really do a work with that, and the moment that I do it, it's so strong. It's just so there, and the numbers 369, 3693, they keep on turning around Pep and everything. And so sometimes I'm driving, I'm thinking of something, and then, oh, that was 369. Oh, that's positive. What was I thinking? We're lost in the thoughts. I forgot what I was thinking, to which I got an answer, and now I don't know anymore. Yeah, I know it's. I hope you're having as much fun as I have in this whole process of downloading information. Paula is there in the back, have a question, and she's there to help. So it's really special. It's really special. And this weekend I was actually telling for the first time to this community. It's very fun. I have several communities that I'm in. This is one of them, the writers class, right? And I'm also partly in the Jewish community here in Belgium. And so I was telling that to some of the friends there, and they were all, I don't know, I expect that people find it weird what I'm doing. I don't know why. So I have that. I have already this a priori, as we would say in French. And so they said, "But that's fantastic, Sylvia. wow, you know, they're all super enthusiastic. And I'm like, I did not expect that one.
Yeah, you're in that stage now where you start talking about the book, you start talking about Pip, and obviously you come from your view, the author's view. But the thing with books, any characters, any books, the audience will take whatever resonates for them and they will have their own view. You will not see Pip in the book the same way as anyone else. They will see it totally different. So for you, you have your knowledge about yourself, about how the book has come out. All of us here on this chat, you know, we're familiar with, you know, maybe shamanism, or, you know, we're quite comfortable with that concept and there's nothing scary for us. But, you know, everybody dreams, and the topic is so relatable, even though, how should I say, maybe not everyone is aware of the meaning of dreams or how dream can be used or not used, but we all dream, and that's why it's so relatable. So it's not alien at all. It's something beautiful. And when reading the book, obviously I read it a couple of times, it's super grounded in reality. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing, how should I say, it's almost, because I know it's on that edge of realism and being real. It's right there, right? Even though what you describe is beautiful, Pip finding a star or going to the blue butterflies that heal him, everything is in the spectrum of what all of us as children we would dream of and we would think of and we would imagine. So that's why for me it's very, very relatable. Yeah. And unless you know, unless you bring your kind of author biography into it and your background, no one will question or will have, oh, why does Pip dream? Because we all dream, right? We all dream. And obviously it's a beautiful story that you dreamt of Pip, right? You dreamt of Pip. So it's a beautiful way to bring in. So, you know, you have this at some point in your book, I had a dream of Pip, and then Pip had a dream of you, and so on, right? So this is the way, I think, the best way to stay with this kind of grounding in reality and just say it as it is. And then people can ask you questions, right? And they can evolve from then and they can find out a bit more. But I think the beauty of it is it's so universal. Indeed, we all dream. It doesn't matter whether we like it or not, whether we want or not, we all dream, right? So that's really great. Really happy to hear that, Sylvia. We can't wait to hear more of it. Yeah, it's very close. I think everyone is getting inspired hearing you, and everyone has a book. We all have a book. I have a second book. You remind me I need to start planning that a little bit better, as I paused that for a bit. So many projects happening.
Life is happening, right?
Life is happening, is going ahead, but that's beautiful. So beauties, I want to do a round. I want to move in the way I see on my screen and just ask everyone to just maybe just share with us any takeaways that you have, and also bring a question that you may have about the content that we've covered so far. It can be anything, any other topics, and let me know if you want me to bring anything up on the screen to refresh your memory. I did send everyone the course content written, but if anyone already has anything that they want to ask, let's use this time for that. Obviously, questions are welcome, but also it doesn't have to be a question. Perhaps it could be something that you take away or something you want to hear of more. Like I said at the beginning, if there's anything you want to know more about or go more into depth, that's also feedback for me so that I know and I consider and I construct the next materials for the next classes that I'll ever do in the future. So anything like that, it's welcome now. And of course, do bring in your book in the discussion. So your projects, I will share the screen. And if anyone wants to go ahead in the meantime, please do. right? So I'm sharing the course content, just using this time also as integration, just going through everything that we've done so far. Yeah, we started. We started even before we started the classes. The questions that I've sent to all of you was, why do I want to write? What has been holding me back? What is my intention for this master class? And I'm curious to hear if anyone set an intention, if they got what they wanted. I want to be able to, when I complete it, I want to be able to. And if you already know the topic and shape, then let us know what it is. And a couple of you have already said, you've changed some of your books, and the books are shaping up differently. Class 1 was committing to writing. So on a piece of paper, I've asked you to write your declaration and create your space of writing where you're going to write. Then we did core message and a writer's block. And we were saying that there is no such thing as a writer's block. And rather it's we don't know why we write, or we forget why we write, right? So we were asking questions such as, what did you feel that made you write? What do you want others to feel when they read your story? How do you want your book to touch others' lives? And what's the lesson? This was the key to the core message. And we continued to talk about writer's block. And I said that I feel that it's a misnomer, and that the only reason not to write is because we subconsciously deny ourselves to create. And it can stem from the past, or from a conscious or unconscious memory, or a difficult association that we have. And some of the practical steps there were to just notice, just becoming aware. And once you become aware of it, it really starts unfolding. Identifying the why, and then asking yourself, what do you need to do, know, or say in order to embrace it? And then talk to a friend about it. That was I remember this session. We then did the work. There was a session where we did the work on some of the beliefs, and that was also quite helpful for you. Finally, not finally, but in the middle, class 4 was the work, and then 5 was the core message becomes an outline. Now with the outline, we spent a couple of weeks on this, and all of you had various levels of writing up your outline. This is when we broke down your core message into manageable pieces, and you started doing your outline, which led you into your table of contents almost, right? This was, I remember for some of you, very useful as you already started to go in depth into some of the stories. But one of the takeaway here is worth noting is to mark your stories with low, medium, and high level of intensity and ease of writing. And Shante, you brought your beautiful personal input on this last week when you talked about the intensity of something and how that can stop you from writing when you're not quite there. Either you haven't processed it, or you haven't just had the chance to just go into it. So those are very important factors when writing personal stuff. The best way to do it is work your way with it, like in the gym, right? We can't lift 120 kilos. We're at 5 and 10 and 20 and 25, and we work our way up. It's the same here. Your voice, the class 7 was about choosing the form and the style that suits you the best. The voice that reflects your message. And again, this was a very beautiful session. I remember you bring in your personal favorite novels, stories, and short stories. And I've asked you to identify how exactly you relate to this. And I've asked you to consider reading them from a different perspective, reading them from the perspective of a writer, and looking at the clues written in between the lines of your favorite creation. The key here was to spend time in silence and become a better listener. Really become a better listener and a better reader before we become better writers. We become really good readers as we pay attention to the details as you were starting to fine tune your writing, we talked about time and place. Is your work of a realistic nature, or is it perhaps something surreal? Is it relevant, or is what you're writing relevant? Are the sentences you write building towards something? Is the topic you are writing about something specific or something fictional that you're creating, and then that will change again the tone? And last but not least, is it fluid, an aspect that's often overlooked, and an aspect that you potentially would get help with from an editor or from someone who can design a story. We talked finally about how to publish your book last week. There was a lot of information here, traditional publishing, self-publishing, hybrid publishing, and all the information is here. But I think the most important part was that no matter how you publish, you have to remember that you will be selling your book in all of this situation. It's you, it's the writer that will have to do the heavyweight lifting on continuously talking about your book, continuously connecting with people, events, and bringing the story in any of the situations. And here we are now at the bonus class, integration, and talking about making writing a habit and heading towards starting our creative writing sessions. Hopefully from 5th of May, we can continue this group and just have a fully creative writing time where we put time towards our book, whatever stage you are in, whether you just starting to write, whether you're in the middle or kind of finishing off like Sylvia. This will be a time to really do our homework, really write, research publishing ways, research marketing, or developing stories, developing characters. So I see these sessions as giving a bit of guidance from my side onto where you are in your story, and starting from there. Yes, Sylvia, those sessions will be open for others. I will start inviting more people to this, and you're also free to invite other people. I do ask people to kindly still contribute if possible, and in whichever way they can, and as long as it's affordable and accessible for everyone. And some of the people who can't contribute materially, I ask them to maybe help sharing the book or the podcast, or bring in more people in the group in whatever way or form. So yeah, that's it. That was our wrap up. So I'm opening now to you, and I'd love to hear your takeaways and your questions. I have Shante here on my screen. I have Shante, Amar, then it's Carmen, and Vera, and Sylvia. That's the order, but feel free to raise your hand if you feel like talking first.
Let's see, I can go first. Interestingly enough, I had been thinking about the outline that I made, and where is that going? Because I'm still working on my third story, which is turning out to be more of a saga.
Right.
And it's almost, no, it's not almost. The book is actually taking a turn that I didn't expect, because I really was looking at writing 16 short stories, no more than 10 pages in a short story, anywhere from as short as like 3 pages to 10 pages. And I'm not finished this story. The story isn't done, and it's already 20 pages. And that's just a lot more to be said. So I was thinking about, do I go back now and reevaluate the table of contents that I created, the outline that I created, and yeah, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm still doing the same book
It's
anymore.
absolutely fine. Oh, bless. No, that's a perfect question. It's a great thing you brought up, Shante. The outline is just a guideline. It's just something, it's almost like a container to get you started. But almost like, imagine like you're cooking a meal and you go creative and you come up with another dish, you get another container, you put it in there, right? You're not going to shove everything into one bowl, right? So let that creativity flow. Do not worry about the outline. Outline, it's something you made. You can
Right.
change it at any point, right?
Mhm.
If this happens often, if you feel as you start writing that your book is transforming, is taking in your shape, do reevaluate though. Do sit
Mhm.
with it and see, is this still representing my core message and what I want to bring? One tricky thing we writers do, we avoid writing something by writing something else that's not necessarily related to the original story or point. This is a nice way to avoid a topic. So then my question to you would be, and obviously to answer this to yourself, is what I'm writing still about my core message? I think it is, from what I hear from you. Is what I'm writing still talking about what I wanted to talk originally? Is it getting longer? Okay, that's fine. Do not worry about that, because again, you said some things are 3 pages and some are 20. That's perfect. That's brilliant. You know, short stories are like that. Some short stories can be 1 page. 1 page. You can tell a short story, and as you probably you know this very well, you can write a paragraph. Don't worry about the form. Is basically the bottom line. Don't worry about the form.
Okay.
Do stick to your core message though. Stick to your core, almost like lessons that you want to bring to the audience, and let that shift into whatever. It could be a novella in the end, you know, maybe you will transform it in a virile story, maybe it will be a novel, and you know, it will grow into whatever it needs to grow. And this kind of formatting you can discuss again once you have your first draft out. You know, once you have your first draft out, you have all your stories in front of you, you can then decide. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Sweetie. Okay, I hope that helps.
Yes.
Is there anything else, Shante? Oh, Sylvia, I noticed you have to leave, so after Shante, I'll if everyone is okay with that, we'll see if Sylvia has a question. But Shante, was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm pretty clear. I you know, I'm letting it evolve. Also, there's that part of me that wanted, like, this is a great outline. Like, this is a great, you know, I'm going to stick to this and I'm going to fit everything in this. And so just being willing to have that flexibility to say, you know what, because the stories are the same.
Yeah.
But in this third story, it just seems like it's pulling a lot of the stories. They're coming from that outline. They're different pieces of it and making it into one, you know, big story, one longer story with multiple parts to it. So yeah, thanks for that. And I think for me, being able to show up somewhere and have a group to write with is going to be really helpful, because I do write better when I'm with other people. Or I do write when I'm with other people, I should say, because I don't know
you
if
actually
I'm writing
do it
when I'm by myself.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Excellent. Thank you so much, Shante, and thank you for bringing your beautiful presence here all the time, and being so involved in it. And I love to read your work, and you have so much going on, and I can't wait to read your first draft. Actually, I look forward to it. Thank you, sweetie. Sylvia, was there something that you wanted to bring, honey, because you need to leave? Or not, sir, by the way, I hope everyone is okay with staying a little bit over.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, you know, that I just have to pop out and be back in like 15 minutes. So I guess that in the meantime, if everybody, I just miss everything. Oh, but I can maybe put it on anyway. No, I just wanted to, you know, thank you for everything you did in those writers' classes. It really kept me going as well, knowing that, you know, all you guys were there and I would see you, and that we were all in this process, or that we are in this process of those books. It really, I don't know, it was inspiring. So thank you everybody, and I hope to see everybody in the writers class. Yeah, I also, Chanté, when you were telling that, sometimes you start a story, maybe that story doesn't fit in the book anymore, but it becomes one on its own. So there you go, 2 books.
Hey,
Yeah, it's wow, all these creative processes, it's really amazing. It's really amazing. So I just, one of the things that I really enjoyed was when you did also the meditation, and that then we would write after that. That really, I really love that way of working. So you definitely, I would definitely leave that in the whole thing. And there were a few other things that I thought were really, really good. Sorry for that. And I don't really have a question for now.
okay.
So I'm just gonna get in my car and just listen to
All
you
right,
guys.
sweetie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I'm really glad you felt motivated to come. That was the intention of the group, to keep you all going and get the books out. And the meditation will continue when you do the creative writing sessions. I will bring in guests as we go along, and I'll bring Cesarina along to motivate us as well. I will do a lot of practices to get us into our bodies before I start creating. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your feedback, Sylvia.
Because, you know, like everybody, okay, we have 2 books for Chanté now, and
yeah,
I guess,
we have everybody.
you
Do
know,
you know
so
what? It's so amazing. At the end of this group, so there are like maybe 11 of us, of which 6 or 7 had books. Do you know, I'd love to see 7 books at the end of the year. That would just make, that'd be amazing, right? From our little group, 7 authors. I can't wait to see that. That would be brilliant.
great. Yeah, can you imagine, Paula?
I can, and I see it. It's a few steps away. I see you all writing. I see you. I can see it. You already have the material now. You just need to put it together, and this is what the writing sessions will support, where you're just getting the information out now, because it's all in you. You have, the book is written. You just need to get it on pages. That's all.
Yeah, true. Okay, I'm gonna switch. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, sweetie, and I'll see you soon. Amar, I have Amar, Carmen, Vera.
I think the struggle I'm having is the structure, like for each story. I get confused of how much to put. I remember we discussed it last time. So yeah, I guess you have the topic, then you have the meat of the story, and then you have a conclusion. It's kind of like, yeah. So that's where I'm still struggling sometimes.
Right, the structure of the book. So with that, Amar, what I'd say, and I know I've probably said this before, is to just get the core content out. Get the first content out. I'm more than happy offering to help you edit the book, and we can have a couple of sessions together. I do that as well. So don't worry about it too much, is all I could say. I would say, write the story. I read your outline, and we had over 25 stories in there, 25 topics. I'd like you to write all of them first. And then as you write, I'd like you to see what storyline forms, what is the pattern? Because right now, when you begin to write, you have an idea of a core message. You know roughly what you're going to write about. But what happens is, when you start writing, something blossoms, something catches shape, and you cannot know that from the beginning. I have the feeling that you want to see the finished product now. You kind of want to see it in your mind's eye now, and that's not going to happen. So any book, when I started writing my book, I had no clue how it's going to end up. Like, I'm going to have 3 parts, and this is the intro, and the priestess does this, and that's the conclusion, and that's the end. I didn't know. All I knew was the theme. she's going to write letters, and they're about the soul. And this is about who we become. I knew that, right? But then the book started shaping up. As I was writing the poems, I wrote the poems. So for 6 months, I wrote just poems. I had no idea the letters will come in. And then in the last 3 months, I wrote all the letters. You know, the letters came downloaded. I thought it was going to be a poetry collection of 50 poems. And then it transformed into something else. And then I put prose into it because I started getting the images. I started seeing there is a priestess, she's in a cell, she can see the window and the moon is coming through. And it started catching a different layer. It was just another layer, right? But again, the core was there. And for you, the same is just take this on as you're writing about your life, about your inner life, about growing, about traveling, transformation. And you know what? It could be that maybe you're still figuring it out yourself, right? You may still be in that process, and that's absolutely fine. And it's allowed. Sometimes a story, it's not about the plot or about the ending. It's about each step of the way. You know, it doesn't have to be a thriller or a suspense or a genre or something. It can just be a heartfelt told story about someone living authentically. Right? That could be your ending. That could be the bottom line. It's someone who lived authentically and had the courage to tell the story, right? Right? So the next thing I would suggest, you have your outline, you have the 25 stories. Ask yourself, again, don't tell us, but ask yourself, how many of these do I want to write by the end of May? How much time can I invest of my time by end of May to write my low and medium stories? And which of them am I going to write? Like, rather ask yourself these questions, right? And then write it. And once you have, let's say, 5 stories written, put it aside, leave it alone for a bit and reread them and see what comes for you, right? How does that sound?
I know that sounds it sounds good because I have some more commitment in terms of trying to finish a certain amount of stories by a certain amount of time, but also not to worry about the structure so much, just keep writing. I think you're right. I'm seeing the final product in my mind, and that kind of is like a block. So I was like, okay, I want to get this chapter done. I don't want to be going back at it. I just want it done next, but then it's just, yeah.
Yes, Amar, you know, the writing process, it's a cycle after cycle after cycle. Like, think about going to pre-wash it and rinse it, and you're going to rinse it again. And it's not, you know, I mean, look, we all have different styles of writing, and rarely do authors write something and it's done, it's perfect, and they put it aside. Rarely. That's why I keep going on about write the first draft of anything. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be ready to publish. It won't be ready to publish, you know, but write the first draft, like the foundation. That's the foundation. Imagine you're building a house. You want to have a foundation, right? Or say you're building a Lego tower. You start from the bottom, yeah? And then maybe you can put some pieces together separately and then you join it up, right? But eventually it has to have a foundation. You can't, if you have pieces floating around, they're not going to stick together. So that's why the first draft of your book, it's your foundation, especially when you write, of course, the kind of stuff that you write. So how many, if I was to ask you, how many stories do you have right now written?
Okay, so I have about 4, but then I shifted remember I told you I was shifting the thought process. So now I'm just writing points again. But maybe I like what you said. Maybe I have to reevaluate it. Maybe I'm just avoiding something, so I'm kind of changing it. I don't know.
100%. And you've just answered the question yourself. Just before you said it, I had this feeling that you avoid writing about something, and that's okay. It's not, you know, We talked about it. I tell you what, so put yourself a goal, a realistic goal. By the end of May, I want to have 6 stories written, which I can get to Paula to read, which I'm happy for her to read in a first version, right? Knowing that this is not your final draft, this is your first draft. I want to get 6 stories written in first draft by end of May. Is that realistic?
Yeah.
Great. So you just do that. Now the trick is choosing the stories. Don't choose something that will block you. Choose something that would help you build confidence and get you in the flow. Choose something that's in a low and medium, right? And let the other stuff follow naturally and organically. All right? Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amar. Carmen, hi, honey.
Sorry, I had to get my plug from
Don't
my
worry.
phone.
I saw something moving in the background, but I was talking
Yeah.
to Amar, so I didn't really, honestly, I didn't notice it.
Yeah, sorry about that. Good. I'm glad. I turned that's why I turned the video off to not be a distraction.
Yeah.
You know, I think the things that were the most valuable to me were the beginning stage, and I'm struggling to find one thing that wasn't useful. I mean, it was all, I don't know, wow, you know. The pre-work we did on why we want to write, and you know, what our message is, or, you know, our core message, how we feel when we're writing. I found that to be very key to helping me break through whatever was blocking me from writing. So that was very powerful. I absolutely love that you took my outline and how you you looked at it and you said, oh, well, here's a possible organization. Here's this beautiful cover. And that was, I don't know, it helped me to see that it gelled, you know, and helped me to envision what it could be. I think that where I struggle is just in getting a routine, you know, and I'm getting better at it. When I first started, I was very regularly writing, but the last 2 weeks, not so much. You know, it's like I went through a little growth spurt. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So, you know, I've just been a bit scattered the last couple of weeks. There's I don't know what it is, the energy. You know, you talked about that convergence of the full moon with the solar eclipse and all of that. And what was interesting is that for me, the number 1111 kept coming. It's been coming up for me a lot. Yeah. And today I actually went in and looked at, you know, what does that number mean, right? Yeah. And it's very powerful. It's all about new beginnings. It's about trusting. And you spoke into that earlier on the call today about that trust, you know. I mean, there's a whole lot more, but I think, and it's also that there's an energy there that, and my guides and the angels are nudging me, you know, you know what to do, and you know, lean into that intuition and just do it. Absolutely. You know, there's a lot of energy, and I have the power to manifest a lot right now. And I've been feeling that. It's kind of like I was incubating and hibernating the last couple of weeks, and on Friday it just all started to come together. I'm getting my writing space, and I have a couple of bonus rooms off my garage, and one is my office, and so getting that put together. So
that's beautiful, Carmen. Oh my God. So you said so many gems in there. Brilliant, brilliant reminders. First, I love your very grounded and honest awareness that you're not you know, your holdback is your routine, really. There's nothing else really. You have the writing in you, you know what you feel, you know how you feel, you know what you want to put. Something very practical as a routine can really make you or break you in anything. So just getting that in, this is why I said to Amar as well, realistically, how much time can you spend on writing? Because that's the bottom line is now, let's get the story out on paper. And you said incubating, that's incredibly important. A lot of what we do as writers, we incubate, we bake it in the oven and before we write it. And this is also one of the reasons why sometimes we stop writing. The story is still incubating, but we have to tell the difference, or learn to tell the difference between I'm avoiding to write versus I'm incubating. And when you're incubating, you're still thinking and feeling what you're writing. You're still in the back of your mind. You're probably going on a walk and you're open to receiving information about the story, and you're maybe sitting on a bus or in public transport, and that's rolling in the back of your mind. You're not pushing.
And I'm writing them down as it comes up. I'm writing these things
Perfect.
down. So
if you can
yeah.
write it down, is you're traveling or walking, or you have a recorder or on the phone, and you get an idea about, I need to remember to put this in the story at that time when this happened, and I need to put that perspective in. So that's you incubating. The story is developing in you. But when you kind of, well, I'm kind of going to go and, you know, shopping, or I'm going to reorganize my cupboard, or God knows what, but I'm not going to write, that's different, right?
Yes.
That's different. So you're reminded that that's very important. So thank you so much for that, Carmen. I have full trust and faith that you will write this book. It doesn't matter how long it will take you. The fact that you're building a space, physical space, is a clear sign to me that the book is almost ready. When it's almost like when having a baby and the parents start buying the furniture in the room, the baby's coming, you know, you need to get a cot, and you need to, it's a very similar thing that you're building the nest for the book. So it's a clear sign that you will accelerate writing. So I'm really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your feedback, Carmen. And thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
You bring so much, and you contribute so much, and you Amar called you Professor Carmen, and there's so much wisdom. You really are. There really is a lot in there. Shantae wrote something. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Wow, that's beautiful. I didn't know.
It is.
Carmen, Shantae. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Lovely. Wow.
And I'm going. Go ahead.
Go on, Carmen.
I'm supposed to go on a retreat mid-May, and then go up to Washington to help my daughter deliver a baby and help her take care of her other children. It's June 2nd. So I'm a little nervous about that, you know, and in keeping what I want that's important to me going, you know. And I injured my knee moving furniture around in my workspace, my new office there. And yeah, I don't know if that's going to stop me from going.
Which leg was it? Lovely.
It is my left knee. Yes.
Left knee, yeah.
My left knee. I held my foot up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my left knee.
Interesting. That's that's mother side, feminine side, and letting go of the past. Some resistance to letting go, but it's okay. It's happening. You know, it's happening for you. So trust. 11/11. It's indeed new beginnings, and it's very much in tune with this eclipse, with the new moon and sun colliding. And 11/11 is about new opportunity, new beginnings, new starts, everything renewing itself. So trust it will work out.
And thank you so much for this space. I think the last thing I know that I need is to keep meeting like this. I know that if I were to stop meeting like this, I would stop, my writing would fall off. So I'm all in with whatever it takes. You know, your service is of great value, Paula.
Oh,
thank you so much.
Oh, appreciate that. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, Carmen. Vera, beloved, the letters are so important part of it, and it's crazy to think they didn't exist at first, almost like the moon didn't exist and then it comes out from the clouds. Exactly right. Wow, very poetic. Beautifully said. Yeah, the letters from the book came at the end. And I don't, I'm not saying it's the best part or so, but many people relate to the letters more than the poems, because poems are not fully accessible to people and letters are prose. So you see that these are the surprises that turn up if you just follow, indeed. So Vera, tell us.
Yeah, it's my writing right now is this world of everything. So I've been working on the outline, and I've been working on the poems, and I've been working on ideas of things that I want to have them. So it's a mess, but it's a lovely mess. But this whole, like what Carmen said and what everyone else said, this has been a very, how would I say, grounding space. So today has been a tough day for me, and it was a tough weekend, and I was talking with my family and talking with the kids and putting them, okay, go to brush your teeth, and then I had this feeling of grounding. I can't explain it any other way. I felt like I was grounded, and I looked at the clock. Oh, it's time. So even though I was not here, I was here. So it was this has been a very, very grounding thing for me, and to have something a communion of people I can relate to and discuss writing, the process of writing and all this. So it's been true treasure. Is in the poetry club. So yes, I'm really looking forward to the writing sessions. And what Sylvia said about we had the meditation and writing, that was very beneficial, and the work that we did. Like I've heard about it before, I've read something about it before, I tried to do it on my own, but when we did it on this group, it became so clear and completely different. So that made a huge difference. So I would say everything has been of great value, but the grounding effect of the group, and then the process of discussion and all this, and the way you give a space, the hot seat, the way you offer it, and the way we do it together, it's been very lovely.
Oh, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Vera. I know that's heartfelt, so I felt that as well. Yeah, we can probably keep the hot seat actually in the writing workshop. We can create a space for that, for people to bring any challenges they have with writing. And I'm really glad the work resonated with you. It helped me a lot, and I always suggested to people, whenever you're in trouble, catch your thoughts on paper. The work has writing in it. It's a tool of writing. It's a writer's tool, right? So, of course, it's meditation and writing, but we can at least write, even if you don't want to meditate yet, at least you can catch it on paper. So I'm really glad that resonated with you. And indeed, grounding, and I'm glad you mentioned grounding. It's so important to do this as creatives, because when you create, you fly off, you go, you shoot up in other parallel universes, and sometimes you lose yourself a little bit in them. It is important to keep your feet on the ground if you want to materialize and bring it back down into form of a book. And this is what this group is about. This is what it takes, like, to put those building blocks on top of each other and get that out. And I do want to see you kind of keep showing up. It's all up. I think it's all I want to say. Keep showing up at the group and keep writing. And when you feel ready, share it. When I look forward to read it, I'd love to read your outline and everything you want to bring. I already know what you write, and it will be such a gift to the world once it's ready and once you've made that decision. And no matter how long it takes you or the stages you have to go through, it will be done. It will be done. So you also need to trust that as well and remind yourself of it. Thank you, everyone. Yes.
Just
thank you.
one more thing. Thanks. I think Carmen, you've been in the hot seat for so many times. So a special thanks for Carmen for being there, because it has been really, really beneficial every single time. Like whenever we were dealing with something, and it was really beneficial for, I think, everyone. So everyone, thank you for being on the hot seat whenever you've been there.
Absolutely. Everyone, someone speaks, they speak for the whole world, right? Everyone benefits. And yes, indeed, Carmen, you contributed a lot to this group. So as you can see, that is appreciated.
Thank you. I appreciate that y'all appreciate me. I appreciate all of y'all. I mean,
appreciate your appreciation. Oh, funny.
And I mean, I totally agree. I was going to make a joke. I'm jumping around here. Every time someone got on the hot seat, I got so much from it. But as I started to say that, then I was going to I totally agree. I'm awesome.
I'm glad you got to see it for yourself, Carmen.
Yes.
If you're ever in doubt, just watch the recordings. By the way, I'm going to leave the recordings there for you to rewatch at various times. I'm sure you all have certain classes that were more resonant for you than others. The materials are there to just as proof. If you ever had doubt, let me pull out that episode when I was in the hot seat. Oh, that's great. That's brilliant. I had a great time with you guys. We're 21 minutes over time, so I don't want to take much more of your time now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the courage that you bring, as it takes so much courage to put your most vulnerable side out there in the world for people to see. It's not easy. It's why I created this group, because I know how hard it was for me, how many years I sat with it, and how many years I postponed it, how many years I made other things more important than me writing. So I know what it takes. And this is why I've created this group. And I'm so proud of you all. You've come a huge way, a long way. You all have your outlines and you all know what you're going to write. And you all have an idea of where you want to be with this book. And even though you may not see the final outline, you're more than halfway there, because you've started. Everything you've started, you're halfway there. And I can't wait to see you on the creative writing sessions. We'll literally be writers in the making. We'll be creating books on a roll in the oven. We'll be baking them. So the books will come out. And then, as I said at the beginning or somewhere in the middle, wouldn't it be great by the end of 2022 to hold your book in your hands, or at least your first drafts out, to have them printed on your desk and have a publishing date out for it, right? Can you see that and just imagine that and focus that just for a minute? This is manifestation time. This is high time for setting intention. So if anyone, I'm just going to pull up whatever YouTube comes up on my frequency history. I want to leave you with this frequency and just ask you to pull your notebook up. I'm also going to do it I'm also going to do it tonight. And just write down what it is that you want to see happening for you by the end of this year. That will be, if you want to call it the homework. I don't think it's a homework, but it's something that I really hope you will do. Like I said, it's the best time there is for manifestation, for really focusing on what it is you want to bring into the world. We have finished with letting go of the past. We have finished with things we don't want to see. We now want to focus on what we do want to see, what we do want to bring into the world. This is the best time between now and the next 2 weeks. It's the best energy to focus on what you want to bring and what you want to see in the world. So just write down what you want to see your book out, see yourself in a better job, to improve your personal relationships, to find peace, to have that dream holiday, to travel again. Write it all down. Write it down. Everything starts from a thought, and then the words written from that thought are the first materialization of that thought. When you write, it's coming to life for the first time. When you're writing it down, it's the first step into the world of that existing. So write it down and write it in detail. This is the best time to take a stock of your life right now. If you were a pizza, look at all the slices, look at your money, look at your career, look at your friendships, look at your intimate relationships and everything your pizza contains, and just set an intention for it. This is my intention, and this is what I'd like to bring out into the world. And this really is the best time that there is, and it has been in many years. The divine feminine energy is rising on the planet. We had the alignments of the universe, our immediate universe, that we haven't had in hundreds of years. So everything around us, the sky, the planets, the sun, the moon, everything around us is kind of lined up to support us, to bring ourselves up to that next level, to upgrade us, to go through the next gateway. And trust yourself. Just trust that you are enough. You taking these little steps, just writing the words on the paper and setting that intention is enough to set things in motion. You are enough. You don't need any special techniques. You don't need to know how. You don't need to know when. You don't need to learn foreign languages. You don't need anything else other than pure, honest intention and awareness of taking the smallest steps when it's the right time, and just listening to them. And take a note of this day if you like. It's the 2nd of May 2022. It's 2/5/22. Yeah, 0205. So you have number 2, just the divine feminine, and 5, transformation, and again 22. You have double up on transformation. I see some of you are still writing. I invite you to continue to sit there and write. And this is 528 hertz, positive energy frequency that raises the vibration in your home, cleanse your home space. So take that as it resonates. It may be that you need to make room in your space to bring this book up, to bring this new energy. Maybe you need to bin some old stuff, old items. Maybe you need to, if you've already done that, to just raise the vibration. That means just bring something you love, bring an object you love that symbolizes something you love, bring a crystal in there, candle, stone, a leaf, a flower, a rock, something that will bring the vibration high or raise it up a little bit. And every time you let go of something, thank it, let go of it with love, and invite new things to come. It's time for a new energy to make its way into the world and be visible. Look at this hedgehog. This is so cute. Everybody look up hedgehog spirit animal. I don't know what it is. It caught my attention. It reminds me of spring. Yeah, I'll leave you with the sound of this beautiful music, and I'll leave you with your pen and paper and notepad, and please feel free to continue to stay there and write. I'm also going to make myself a cup of mint tea from my garden, and I'm going to take my notebook and write a few lines. All right, beautiful souls, I'm going to thank you, sending you love, sending you hugs, and have a beautiful week ahead. And I'll see you on the 5th of May, 5/5/2022, for our creative writing sessions.